Hello, gathered friends. This is Spider, and welcome back to another review. And today's Bionicle review is a little bit special, because in the previous weeks, we've taken a look at Tahu, Pohatu, and Onua. So now, it is time to take a look at their combined form, the Toa Kaita Akamai. At least I think that's how you pronounce those words. Not entirely sure. Anywho, here we have the Spirit of Valor, and boy, is it big. Now, if any of you are wondering, how the heck do you build this thing? It's actually pretty simple. On the back of the instructions, or towards the back, I should say, obviously in the beginning it tells you how to build the Toa, but if you skip towards the back, it actually has the instructions to build their combined form. And so all three of the Toa have the different steps. So Onua has the beginning bit, Pohatu has the middle, and Tahu has the final stretch. Now, if you don't have the booklets anymore, don't worry, you could probably still find the instructions on the internet somewhere. Heck, you could probably find them on YouTube if you looked hard enough. But anyways, here we have the Toa Kaita. Now, before we fully get into this review, there's one more thing I want to change, and that is the mask, because it's not completely accurate to his appearance. I'll just pop that off and replace it with this golden mask. And we just plug that in, and there you go. Now he is complete. So, to get this review going, we'll start things off by taking a look at their articulation. Actually, before I do, I want to raise up the camera just a little bit, so we're a bit more eye level with the figure. Alrighty, so for articulation, he does actually have movement at the head. Yeah, they actually give him a ball joint here, so we can look that far up, can look a little bit down. You can get some side-to-side action there. You can look all the way around if you so wish to do so. The arms can go all the way out. They can go a bit forward, but they don't really hold the position super well. They can go a little bit back, but also don't really hold the position, because the ball joint can move all the way around. The hand is, hang on, let me adjust him. There we go, now he's standing. The hand is also on the ball joint, so it can move all the way around, but I usually just leave it in the locked in position. The other arm is also on a ball joint, so pretty much all the same movement as this arm, but there's no hand. There's nothing at the waist. And then the legs. The legs are, they're something. There is technically movement here at the hips, but we'll talk about more of that later. Right now we're going to be coming to the knees? Sure, the knees. You do get a little bit movement at this bit up here, but not a lot. Honestly, most of the leg movement comes from this part here. You get some movement there, like that. You can get some twists in there. You can actually get a good amount of twists. You can get some ankle tilt. Oh goodness, everything's coming apart. It's falling apart. It's breaking. It's falling apart. Oh no. Oh dear. Oh goodness. Anyways, I fixed it. So you can get, I guess, would that be an ankle tilt? When did it? Yeah, sure, why not? So you get that, and then of course the foot can still move on its own. So, articulation is certainly interesting, and well, it's interesting. But that's kind of how articulation was for Bionicle at the time. They were still kind of figuring things out. So, it's a little bit excusable, but it is still pretty awkward, especially in the legs. Just anyways, now that we're done with that, we can move on to the details. So we'll bring him up here. And bring this up here so a bit more on eye level. And please excuse the poster in the background, just never mind that. We shall focus here on Akamai's old noggin here. So we have the golden mask here, which looks very, very nice on him. And the head here is using Onua's head, so he has those nice green eyes, which, as before, we can take a flashlight and shine it through to give him some nice glowing green eyes, which looks very, very nice. Always appreciate a good light piping. You got Pohatu's hands for the shoulders here. You have Tahu's arms for the, well, just arms, honestly. You have Onua's claws and foot as some chest armor here. With weapons, he's got a sword and a club, apparently. I put that head on wrong. There we go. That's so much better, isn't it? So yeah, apparently this is supposed to be a club. Which, I mean, I guess if you did strap two dismembered heads together, it would make a half-decent club, I would imagine. I don't know, I don't really want to find out. But anyways, you have the three Toa bodies just kind of strapped together. And honestly, even though the whole thing is made out of a bunch of mismatched pieces and colors, it kind of works in a way. Just a little bit. No, just me? Anyways. Like the brown and the black kind of, I mixed it up. The brown and the black kind of blend together if you don't really pay attention to it. And you got the legs, which you got some gray up here for the thighs. And then you got this, which, what is this assembly? It's just, 2000s Bionicles. They were something else. And you got the legs here with Pohatu's foot booster thing in the middle. And you got the back of the figure with Onua's other foot for some back armor, I suppose. You got the back here. It is certainly an interesting build. That's for sure. Very much interesting. Yeah, he's just, I mean, I hate to say it, but he's kind of built like a T-Rex or something. You know, like he's got this big old body and these big old legs and these teeny tiny arms. Like, I don't know why they only used Tahu's arms for the arms. Especially since Pohatu's arms are still left over from his build. So, like, I don't know, I feel like they could have found a way to try and, like, add those here so he's not just Tiny Arms McGee, but I don't know. Now, like the individual Toa, the combined form also has some gear functions. So yeah, it actually has quite a few. He's got this gear function, which controls that arm, this gear function, which controls this arm, and then this one, which controls the legs. So yeah, I can spin this around and swing the sword. And you can swing this arm and swing the club. And because the arms are so loose, it really, you got some wild swings in him. Oh goodness, he doesn't want to stand. Let me fix his legs there. Here we go. And speaking of the legs, now we come to their gear function, where you spin this bit and it makes him walk. Anywho. Now, all these legs are kind of attached to just one axle that goes across here, and it makes me a little nervous with all this weight of the legs attached to them. I'm a bit scared it's going to break or bend or warp or something. So, I don't really want to mess with the legs too much in fear of that. Yeah, he's got plenty of gear functions on him, and it is kind of cool seeing how they built them. Yeah, especially here at the legs. The legs here, if we take a look at his cross here, he does have some pretty interesting stuff going on here. You even have this ball joint attached to this bit is also attached to the legs, which gives it a little bit more friction. So that was an interesting idea, I have to say. I thought that was kind of cool. And overall, that's kind of all I gotta say about Akamai here. Is he's kind of cool, you know? Is certainly interesting. And, I mean, he was definitely cool in the story when he showed up. And you would think with a big old combined power-up form like this, that this would be something the story would use pretty often, like in Power Rangers or Voltron. But nope. In fact, as far as I can remember, I think they only used it once. And it wasn't even to fight the big bad. They used it on their way to the big bad. They were forced to disassemble and go into their regular forms. So it's like, then why even do it then? Why even introduce something this cool if you barely do anything with it? I don't know. It's especially odd considering the main saying throughout the series is unity, duty, and destiny. It's like the three virtues and whatnot that they always follow. And it's like, so you would think that the literal unification of the characters would be a concept more often used. But nope. It's a one-off. Okay. Okay, whatever. But it was still pretty cool when it did show up. So, that's pretty much it for the figure. Now we should move on to the size comparisons. So let's just get to those. Alrighty, so to start off the size comparisons, as always, here it is with a Lego minifigure, who's tiny comparison. The Pack of Destruction minifigure Mothra. Always tips forward. Pack of Destruction minifigure Godzilla. It is with the McDonald's Bionicle Toa Kaita Jala. Who doesn't want to stand, but whatever. And then, just because he's also kind of big, here it is with the 2007 Movie Liter Optimus. Who, yeah, even this guy is bigger than him. Yeah, that was surprised me about this guy, just how tall he is. Speaking of tall, it's measuring time. So let's get to that. So we'll get him kind of scooted back there. We'll focus up on things and then get the measuring tape and bring it out. And you can see he is almost 11 inches tall. He's almost a foot tall. Missing it by a couple inches. Oh my goodness, this thing is big. Like, I'd always seen videos of him and whatnot, like people talking about him and stuff. Because this is actually the first time I've ever been able to build Akamai. Because I never had all of the Toa in order to do it. So I was not prepared for him to be as huge as it is. But he is certainly big. Trying to get the arms like that is kind of annoying, is that these bits don't really want to stay, so they just kind of flop about. So it's kind of hard to get them in any kind of a cool pose. Yeah, that kind of works. So that is pretty much it for Akamai, and it's certainly interesting. I mean, it's definitely a cool concept. It's just the execution is a little awkward. But I gotta say, even with that awkward execution, he still has a presence to him. It may not come through on camera, but in hand, he just, I don't know, he's got a presence. That's all I can say. Also, be aware that when you, if you do build this one for yourself, that there are going to be some spare parts left over from the Toa, so make sure to get some Ziploc bags so you don't lose those pieces, because that would be quite unfortunate if you did. anyways, that's kind of all. Now, if you wanted to see the reviews for Tahu, Pohatu, and Onua, they will all be linked down in the description below. Goodness, cannot talk. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. I mean, if you are a fan of Bionicle and you have the Toa, I definitely recommend building it at least once, because it is kind of cool. And if any of you know anything about Bionicle, you know that this is only half of the team. There's still 3 more Toa to go, and they have a combined form of their own. However, I don't actually own those figures as of now. I got one of them, but I'm missing the other 2, so it's probably going to be a while before I do any reviews of them, unfortunately. Honestly, it's probably going to be until next year before I finally take a look at all of them, so yeah. But hey, at least I did these 3. And that's pretty much all I've got to say about these 3 in their combined form. So yeah, that's it. I hope you all enjoyed. See you later. Sayonara. Bye.